Hey everyone, Skillsy Shooter here, coming at you episode the Big 20 QuadFeed Podcast. I'm
can
here.
Almost drink in America.
What?
I said we can almost drink in America.
Almost drink, yeah. 2 weeks ago we were legal in most European states and Australia. Next week we'll be legal in the US, and then Ron's going to have his way with 21.
Oh yeah.
And then, and it's onward and up until we hit 40, I suppose, or 50, depending on how we go.
I will still have my way with 40 or 50 as well.
I've heard that about you. I really have. We are going out live. For those of you listening right now, I can see the counter. It's currently sitting at 0 viewers. So we're going to go hardcore right now. And I do appreciate that it's probably, it's 9:45 in Australia. But hey, if there are any UK Sunday viewers, come on in.
That's Skillsy. I've been there. Don't be too downhearted. Mine's like 0 for about 20 minutes sometimes. I'm like, what? It'll kick in.
As you can see, our guest this week is none other than JayEx23, the most successful previous guest we've had on QuadFeed. So happy to have him.
Quotes.
Well, I meant to ask you.
Anyone that's actually achieved anything like significant? Because I don't know.
I meant to ask you how did your life change as after your visit on this podcast? I mean, I can only.
Oh, it's unreal, man. It's unreal. Yeah.
You probably would have picked up about
to be honest,
3 subs maybe from it. I don't know.
I don't remember, man. I can't keep track. I just can't keep track of them all. But I appreciate
it. Down after you were on.
Sorry?
Your subs went down after you were on.
Yeah, it could have done, but I'm just going to try and come out of this just unscathed. That's the idea.
Well, not only were you the most successful and the most viewed guest, that goes without saying, but you're actually the first repeat guest because Ghibli was going to have that crown, but he had a scheduling conflict. Yeah, he was all up for coming on again, and I think the week that he said he would come on, he like last minute kind of thing, and he overslept.
Oh, there's a surprise. He said to me he wants to play some DayZ today or later tonight. I was like, yeah, I believe that when you log on, mate. Like,
all right.
I was like, yeah, he's always been like that, but it's fine because he's a laugh when he's on, so I don't hold it against him.
Yeah. Well, I bought DayZ, and Ben will know this is a story well told before. I bought DayZ, 3 weeks ago? Yet to play it.
3 weeks.
Haven't logged a single second on it yet.
It can be difficult to get into, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't know how...
I've warned him well on it.
Just don't walk to the edge of the map when you start.
Why is that?
Oh, I did that. I'm going to walk over this mountain range, and I was just walking for days without seeing anything. And I was like, this game sucks. Because
I've been getting really bored of it, to be fair. Like, I'm a number 1 fan. I mean, I've got about 260 hours in standalone, and although that's quite a lot of time, and I'm now getting bored. I'm just getting bored because there's nothing to do once you've got your gear. I'm just waiting for things, and there's nothing to do up north. So what everyone does is once they're happy with what they've got and they know how to survive, they just all hang around the coast and look for interactions with people. Whereas what should be happening is everyone just moves up north, find a little town, maybe build a base, start building a car, go to the, say for instance there was vehicles but they were only at the airfields, then that would get everyone off the coast and it'd just be... And then because at the moment you can go up to the airfields, which were always hives of PvP in the past. That's where you go for the serious PvP. Yeah. But now there's no one there, even on a rammed server, because there's no need to go there. There's nothing there that's not on the coast. So it needs sorting out. So especially now there's going to be more competition for survival games. They need to sort it out, otherwise they'll lose a lot of people. Then they sold 2 million copies, so do they really care? I don't know.
And what do you think about Dean leaving at the end of the year, as soon as it's been launched? So he's
ship, mate. Jumping ship.
Everyone's he just got all his money and.
Yeah, there was probably some sort of internal issues, obviously a bit of politics internally, but he did say something along the lines of he can't do what he wants to do in the DayZ frame. He can't achieve what he would see as the perfect game the way that DayZ runs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a good move for him, but it is. I don't see why they needed to tell everyone so soon. But then if they had told people 2 months before he left and people found out that they'd known for months, everyone would be like, why did you hide it from us all? So
That's true.
Well, they'd look at it as a firing as well. Be like, well, we just kicked him out the door.
Good, but at the same time, like he says, he's a creative guy, so he's done all he can do for them. Like, to be fair, I don't think he really knows much about how the game plays. I know he obviously knows everything about how it runs, but when I watched him playing it, he did a live stream, I really felt like he didn't understand his own game. And so maybe it is best left in the hands of people who are really passionate about that style of game. He's just a mod ideas guy, or, you know, a brilliant one.
The visionary.
So maybe he's better off just leaving it to someone else and doing his own thing.
Yeah, I saw that when he also did he did like an interview in game when he was playing with someone, but this was back in the day when he did the mod. And again, he's like, okay, we're going to go do this. This is how it works, blah, 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 blah. And then the guy was recording it and doing an interview as he was doing it. And then he kind of like didn't really know like how to play in a way. Right. It kind of just looked like, okay, like I get it now sort of thing. It's like, what the hell? Like, you're the one that wrote the coding for that and all that sort of stuff. So
it was like that when he streamed about a month ago. And as someone who plays a lot, and I invest a lot of time into it because I love it, to be fair, but it's really frustrating when the lead guy is like, doesn't seem to know how to eat an apple or something. And you're like, aren't you behind all of this? Or are you just a face who doesn't really do a lot? I don't know.
How do you eat an apple, incidentally? I'll write it down just so that I can...
Hey, if you have to be told, you'll never learn.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, okay.
That's
right
like
click
on the game.
If I have to be...
So you haven't played anything until you've broken your leg and tried...
There's not a lot else in the game other than eating apples, so I'll leave that.
Eating apples and putting on clothes.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil that for you. So.
It's like that Simpsons episode where he's like, this is how you eat an orange. Just eat the damn oranges.
It's a lot like a marriage.
Good apple.
It is funny. One of the best things about the game is all the different clothes you can get. It's ridiculous. I feel like I'm playing The Sims, but I get a buzz. I'm like, oh, look, nice green wool coat. Maybe I'll dress up like a huntsman or something. Yeah. And I'm thinking, why is that my enjoyment of this survival game? I'm like, oh, a nice outfit.
You know what, though?
Fashion, really, but
it might be the zombie apocalypse, but you still got style.
You know what, though? When I'm not sure if I told you this before, but like when I get the text come through from the Twitch app to say, you know, you're live streaming. When I get to work, you'll still live stream. So I'll open up a separate window, but I never watch. I just listen. So it's off to the side where I can still see the chat window and still interact with people. But you know, I've got my Hawkeye boss looking at, you know, with the potential to look at my screen. I just treat it like an audio book, really. But the times when I hear you get the most excited, it's like, oh yeah, I've got a green beret here, or a backpack, or like a jacket. Oh, pristine condition. I'll take that.
Well, it is about loot finding, isn't it? And when there's nothing really great to find, like in the mod, there was some incredible like assault rifles and LMGs up in the north, but because there's only like 3 guns and you know where to find them, you can't really get excited about loot like that. Like if there was more backpacks and things, I don't know, anything. But at the moment, they're just throwing in loads of clothes, so that's all there is to get excited about.
So,
I was
just going to say, excuse my noobness though, but how much do they randomize both the locations and the stuff that you find?
Your video's gone. Has it gone for anyone else? Gavin's video?
No,
it's fine for me.
Fine for me.
Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. Sorry, it might just be my connection. I was like, how much they random where things are?
Yeah, well, and what those objects are. Like, you know,
for
can
instance,
be guaranteed a green beret or a red beret. I mean,
yeah, well, that's like residential places and industrial and commercial and
There are some items which aren't incredible but are quite rare. So, say it used to be the fact that the puffer jackets. There was puffer jackets in the game for quite a while, but the spawn rate of them was so rare. Although there's nothing great about them, if you found one, it was a bit of a thrill because it's like, oh, this is like the rarest coat in the game. And even saying this out loud makes me think, what is the game about? Like, what If someone had said to me like, "Oh, we're going to get this game, and you're going to be able to find jackets," and you'd be like,
Jacket simulator.
Okay. But really, that's what I'm getting excited about. I suppose it's the loot goblin mentality, or like, there's lots of games that keep you hooked because you discover loot. Whatever it's called, scavenging, loot finding.
Yeah.
It's
Hoarding.
like Diablo or anything like that. You're just always looking for that next piece of treasure, and
The grind.
unfortunately, there's not that many guns. But they are putting more guns in. It's just a bit of a mess, man. In so many ways, it's the most amazing game you could ever make, but it's kind of also. It pays the price by being very experimental and very doesn't even know what it is sometimes.
Very slow to make it as well. Like, it's been how long now have they been making it, and they finally released it, and then now it's kind of like, even though it was released, how long ago was it released? A couple of months or whatever, and now it's like, I'm really bored of it. It should be like the best game ever, and I've done everything there is to do like 4 times over.
Well, the problem is I always say these things like, for instance, they focus a lot on like coats and hats, but really I just want a bike, like a bicycle. One vehicle. I know they want to do things right, but give me one vehicle that I can easily make, and it completely changes the dynamic of the game. Because then you've got people going all over the place. You've got the fun element of people riding around on quad bikes or whatever.
People stealing
And
bikes.
yeah, and I suppose they don't like just throwing little things in here and there because it can mess up the whole system. It seems like it's so fragile, the whole system, that sometimes they can throw things in, it just breaks the game. So it's not good. And the fact, obviously, we've got this H1Z1, which was announced this week. They could be in trouble of losing all their fan base if other people come and step in. But there is something about DayZ which is hard to replicate, I think. Will be hard to replicate by anyone else.
Yeah.
I remember even back when you were playing mod, you were streaming mod quite a lot, like literally just that bicycle. I mean, it felt like you were pedaling for ages, but it just did add, like you say, that degree of fun to it, and the fact that you could, you didn't have to, invest 20 minutes in running to Cherno.
Well, if you want to go up north, it's not a big commitment. That's the difference, I suppose. It's having that, like, the thing is, at the moment when I stream, once I've got a bit of gear on the coast and I'm like, what do I do now? Quite a few times I've said, right, screw it, we'll just go up north. There's lots of cities, there's things to do, although there's not much different loot. And I've been in 40-man servers and streamed for 4 hours and not seen anyone because I've gone up north. And I'm like, not only do I want to entertain people, and for that I need a bit of interaction, but also it's boring for me. Like, just nothing there. Unless you're playing with someone. I mean, that changes it as well, If you play with someone and you're just hanging out with them and playing, that's another thing.
No, that's true. I think me and Ben were in the same game for days and couldn't find each other.
No. This is when this was when we first started as well, so we didn't know the difference between Cherno or Electro or anything like that.
That's just bad map knowledge, though, isn't it? Not finding each other.
Although I remember,
it was always because I used to play. When I play with Ghibli, he doesn't know the map as well as I do. Whereas I've played it so much that as soon as I'm in, I know where I am and I know where to go to get wherever. And he didn't really. So when he spawned in, he used to try and explain to me where he is. Then I'd try and find out where he is using the map. Then I'd say, oh, you need to run this way. And if he'd explained to me where he was badly, it might be wrong. So then he goes, oh, I'm actually by a big coal tower. And I'm like, oh, he's in Berezino. That's the other side of the map. I said, I thought you were here. He was like, no. And so, yeah, that is a major part of the game if you want to play with someone. Because also you could do all of that and the guy could get shot just before you meet. And you spend 2 hours trying to meet up.
That happened to us a lot. Or I'd break my leg.
What they could do is introduce like a Battlefield 4 style squad system so you can spawn on a friend. But that creates its own problems. So
that'd just be even more fodder for bandits and all that sort of stuff.
Because they just spawn in on one guy.
But as long as you make it groups of 4, I mean, I don't know. Or even 2, because in Arma 3 they have a buddy system in some mods where you can see where the other buddy is all the time. But to buddy up, you have to be close to them. And then you buddy up. And then wherever they go, there's a little signal on your map where they are. So That's a way around it. But it is annoying because people think of all these incredible things to make it work better, and DayZ doesn't do it. Like, there's basically a DayZ version of Arma 3 called Breaking Point, and that has so many features which have just completely, like, undermined what DayZ do. Like, they've figured out how to make things work, and they're not even a huge company. It's just a few guys writing a mod. Like, they've figured out how to get the frame rate incredible by not making loot spawn on the floor, but making it spawn inside of containers. So it's not
underneath beds and
and it makes you think, hang on, like I thought DayZ were the kings of this. Like these guys have written code and they've managed to solve all the problems. It's a bit
that and Breaking Point and Epoch as well. Epoch's really good. That's really far ahead.
There's
but
a lot
it's
of
fun.
modders.
Yeah. It's funny as well when you said before with the puffer jacket. That was like in the mod as well when you ever found a can of Mountain Dew. It was kind of like one of the rarest things, and you kind of didn't want to pick it up because you know as soon as you picked it up, you were going to die just because of just bad luck because you know everyone wants to get that as well. So yeah, Mountain Dew, the puffer jacket is the new Mountain Dew maybe.
And that's the quote of the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Older players will know what I mean, like of the mod.
Older Mountain Dew players would definitely know what you're on about. Do we want a topic?
I thought you had some. Let's do it.
Yeah, I've got a bunch. I was just waiting for a resounding yes, or if you wanted to continue with DayZ chat or whatever.
I feel like it's not fair because not everyone plays it as much as us, so we don't rant on too much.
That's all right. There's a demographic there, don't worry. A question that I want to put to you, Jay, because I get the impression that you will know exactly what game I'm talking about. Does console exclusivity hurt games and gaming on the whole?
I think it hurts the developer more than anyone else because they're going to miss out on all the sales. But if they get paid off significantly by the console owner, then is it a problem? But I don't know. You've got to have some exclusives though, or why are people going to buy your system? I suppose you could then say, oh, well, you just make the better system in terms of hardware and features for your system. But it does, but I don't see it going away. But it's weird because PC doesn't really, I don't know, PC's different, isn't it? It's like there's PC exclusives, but it's not as if there was some company called PC who bought out this company and said, oh, you can only make for PC. It's just people who want to develop for PC and they do just on that. So,
or they want the freedom to develop for something that's infinitely more powerful than the consoles of the.
Or not even just that. Sometimes it's the complexity of the controls means it's not viable on a controller.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure they don't like missing out on extra income from console or whatever, but maybe that, if they do a model where it's constant updates and things, obviously if you do a game that updates on Sony have to pre-approve each update and patch and blah-de-blah. Like you couldn't do Breaking Point or DayZ in its formula now on a console because it would just take too long to patch and all that kind of stuff. So
too much.
My answer to your question is yes, basically, but it just comes with the way that things are, really.
Because I mean, obviously, I'm talking about Titanfall, but the 360 version got released a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably too soon to tell whether or not any of the sales figures coming through were, so groundbreaking that it could be the revival or, whatever shot in the arm that it needs to kind of get into that space of, this is a successful game. Because, I think I was listening to you and Eddie the other day about how, it doesn't make for great streaming. It's not a great streaming game for some reason. There doesn't seem to be a whole.
Well, it doesn't have the crowd behind it either, I suppose. And it's also, in some ways, it's not seen as a higher skill game. Like I know. Obviously, if you're going to be good at it, there's obviously skill to that. But for some reason, it's very like noob friendly, and it's weird because it's noob friendly in the way that we always wanted it, in terms of it doesn't punish the good players and so on like that. But also having that element to it makes it a bit, people aren't impressed by your Titanfall skills in general. Like, unless, because I get a lot of Titanfall clips from my countdowns and things, and some of them I think, wow, this guy's got really bad accuracy, but he's managed to pull off something that looks cool. Do you know what I mean? And whereas from an FPS gamer standpoint, you know, you look at that and you're like, oh, you know, they're not really good. They're just, I don't know, good with the mechs, or they did some good running, or I don't know. So
yeah,
it's a if it was on PS4 though, I bet you it would be the #1 game right now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm kind of glad that I did a video on it about what will be the new yardstick, in, you know, because the involvement of the minions and the specters and all the grunts and all that sort of stuff. And it was kind of like, will that water down what is the perceived skill gap between a Call of Duty player, you know, averaging chem strikes, nuclears, you know, Moabs, whatever, coming over onto Titanfall? Is that skill gap reduced? And can you tell the difference between, you know, Jay on Titanfall versus Jay on Call of Duty Ghosts getting chem strikes?
The thing is, Titanfall's not built around good players going in and wrecking all the noobs. Like, it's built around good players being able to do their thing without affecting the lower skill players too much. And that means that it doesn't have that kind of, well, look at this guy, he's doing incredible, because it's padded out by, like you say, by the grunts and certain things that don't require high skill levels in terms of accuracy. So it's difficult, because if you're, say, a gameplay person for Call of Duty, as in you upload impressive gameplays, that's tough to do with Titanfall, because people aren't impressed, because because to get a high score you have to, you know, just get a lot of grunt kills, for example, in attrition, and people aren't impressed by it, so they don't really see the skill, because there is a skill in managing to get a lot of those and pilot kills, because you have to be very spatially aware and be aggressive and get into those positions, but people don't see that because it's not obvious. In COD it's obvious. It's like, you know, kill, you get a score. Whereas Titanfall's a bit more complex. So 1 point for that, 2 points for that, 4 points for that, 3 points for that. And I don't think people really think about that deep when they watch it, a lot of them. So the COD crowd are going to not really transfer over. And it's a great game. It's such a shame.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess you could kind of say that sort of shift happened from Black Ops 2 to Ghosts as well, just purely because of the map size and the fact that the damage is just so, it feels like it's a 2-hit kill in every single thing that you do. You don't necessarily see so many high-scoring games of Ghost gameplay, and when you do, generally it's. I mean, you just don't see the quad Moabs or quad chem strikes. They just don't exist.
But yeah, #1, it's the size of the maps. Like, I've seen a couple of double chems on Strike Zone, but the assault streaks aren't really strong. In Black Ops 2, you know, you'd see these huge number scores. 90% of the time, that was with score streaks as well. We're talking Swarm, Dogs, Lodestar. And in COD Ghosts, you've got, like, what is it, the Helo Pilot or something?
Odin Strike or something.
Yeah, the AC-130 / chopper gunner type streak in Ghost is really weak. It's like meant for dropping care packages and juggernauts, and it's just not much fun. The only fun things you've got are, well, there's not much to actually use that is fun, but most people just go IMS, Sentry Gun, and Heli, basically, because the other things they're no fun to use and they don't get you loads of kills. So, yeah, I think they take note of that though. Like, for some people that is annoying, but for other people they don't want to be on the wrong end of 100 kills, you know. So,
be in a YouTube video for all the wrong reasons.
But also, it's weird because I thought at first that assault streaks would be really strong, because I noticed in the early game that there was no lock-on launchers to take down support assault streaks. And I actually said to the developer, I was lucky chance to play with them, and I said, you know, is the reason that there's no lock-on launchers because you want assault streaks to be stronger? Because that was one thing with Modern Warfare 3 that people said, well, what's the point in playing assault when my assault streak gets taken down straight away, when I can play support and get advanced UAVs, and I can get stealth bombers, or I can play specialist and get all the perks. And so I think to balance that out, what they did is they stopped people's ability to take down like helis and stuff. But people still don't really use assault because they do, but they use the lower ones like IMS and sentry gun, and because of that, you're not going to get the big scores. And obviously also it's the kind of the level of score that was seen as a good gameplay has always gone up to the point where it went full retard with Black Ops 2, where a couple of people were getting 200 and 300 kill games. Like, that's full retard. You know, that's not even the game anymore. That's just like farming kills. Like, I know it's, you know, there's a certain skill to it, but you're playing the game in such a retarded way that you're not really playing the game. And so
it's all your guys running support and ballistic vests and I'd rather see someone get 50 kills with aggressive gameplay than see a 150 kill where there are only actually 20 real kills and the rest was assault streaks. So, but that's difficult to sell on YouTube because your whole point of sale is the title and the thumbnail. And when you've got 100 written in the title instead of 50, you know, what are you going to click? And most people will click the 100. Yeah. Don't know. I mean, in the circles that you move in, I mean, like Zephyrs, for example, back in the Modern Warfare 3 days, when you used to roll with him, it would be like, you know, this is incredible, the stuff he was able to do. And when you do live streams where you were Broab hunting and, you know, getting multiple Moabs for individual people per game, you just don't see that.
Well, the key was, though, the specialist gave you every perk and attachment and whatever. You know, it gave you kick, it gave you focus, it gave you every, obviously, perk and obviously not every attachment, but you know what were they called? Proficiencies, that's it. Gave you every proficiency and every perk. So having Marksman and Stalker were the ones that everyone used to say was so strong because you could aim down sight and you could see everyone and move really quickly. And Ghost isn't like that. Obviously, when you've got everything unlocked, like if you're smart with your perks, you can get a really great perk setup, but it's harder to get all the perks, and you don't get all the perks. You get like not even half probably. So that's a part of it as well. Specialist was extremely strong in Warfare 3. So once you got 8-9 kills, you know, the ability was there if you could hold your nerve to go on a rampage. But in Ghost, it's like once you've got all your perks unlocked, not too much has changed really.
It just makes you more and more defensive because you know how hard it was to get to that point to begin with.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's just that you're not as much of a super soldier or with all the perks unlocked, so you're just as vulnerable. Whereas Modern Warfare 3, once you've got everything unlocked, you're nowhere near as vulnerable as you are without all the perks. Yeah. Like, don't forget things like Danger Close to stop you getting killed by explosives. Everything, you know, everything that can help you have in Modern Warfare 3. And all of those combined make you a real pain in the ass to kill. Whereas Ghost is, you know,
throw a
depends
pillow
on
at
what
you.
perk you pick. Yeah, it's weird. I think they wanted that in some ways, but it doesn't help the people who like big gameplays. But is that a bad thing? I don't know. Like, I don't care if people get massive gameplays. I'm not interested in that. There's a crowd that are.
Benny, what's your take on that, man?
Yeah. See, I don't even feel like I'm even qualified really to even answer that question. We've got like...
Come on, you've got Quad Goats written on your thingy. You must have an opinion.
Quad Goats.
Quad Goats. Thank you very much. Everything is goats at the moment.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about that? If you don't feel like you've got the subject matter behind you.
Oh no, it just feels like, you know, that was like such a critical, in-depth look from Jay there, and I'm just gonna be like,
that's why we get him on. He's got the pedigree. The pedigree is there.
Oh, I know, but I just feel like anything I say will just detract from that, so maybe I shouldn't say anything.
You're just like, I use the ACR.
Yeah.
I was that.
Yeah. I don't even. I didn't like Ghosts, so. But I'm loving Titanfall. But that's about it.
Was it so bad that it put you off the next one, or are you excited for the new one potentially?
I'm like you though. I can see myself buying every version of it, every iteration that that keeps on happening, even as butthurt as we all get, and I mean we collectively as a Call of Duty community, we'll still buy it.
Yeah. Well, this time I won't pre-order it. Like, I didn't buy it when Black Ops 2 came out, and then everyone said how good it was, and I got it, and I loved Black Ops 2. And then I was like, oh, okay, well then Ghost is coming out. They are talking this up so much. It's all next gen. Yes, I'm going to pre-order it. Played it for a couple of hours and just hated every second of it. And then I was like, that's it. No more. Not doing it anymore. But then now I'll see what happens when the next one comes out. But this time I won't pre-order it. I'm not pre-ordering anything anymore.
The thing is, they are very good at making the game look very good before it comes out. And to be fair as well, what frustrates me with Call of Duty Ghosts is the DLCs are really good, in my opinion. There's been 2 DLCs. All the maps are good. All the little fun things are good. The Extinction's good. For me, if you took out 3/4 of the Ghost maps, left in, I don't know, Strike Zone, the competitive ones that they play, the fun ones, and then replaced all the crap onto the DLC maps, I literally think Ghost would have been a success. But I think it's so much down to maps because maps just affects the whole game style. It's so affects. I've never played Strike Zone and thought I'm not really having a good time in a way. Whereas I've played Siege and Sovereign and thought, like, what am I doing with my life? So if you take the DLC and, the DLC has got a Dome remake, it's got Bayview, which is a nice small map, it's got the fun maps of the movie tie-ins, and it's got Scrapyard remake, and it's got new guns, the SMG Ripper, that's a really good gun, the Maverick Assault Rifle, that's a really good gun. If that was in the original game, I don't know if they do it on purpose so people buy DLC, but I think the lesson they might learn is that it's too late by the time the DLC comes. Although a lot of us have already bought Season Pass and whatever, but if the hype's not there before the DLC, I make videos about the DLC, but I say to the community manager who wants me, he's interested in me playing it and promoting it, I said, I'll make the videos, but they don't get the views. They just don't, like they used to. I made a Peacekeeper video for Black Ops 2, got 500,000 views. That game is popular. This game, no matter how good the DLC is, because the hype's not there, it's great DLC, and I still made the videos, but, it's like, I have to say to them, look, we can't make it popular. You have to make the game popular, and then
you don't
I don't know. I
get
just think
it's
a shame.
Yeah, and Gav and I, but Battlefield 4 came out a little bit beforehand. So we went from playing Battlefield 4 to then Ghost straight after, and it just felt like a free-to-play. It sounds so slack, but it just felt like a free-to-play game. Coming from Battlefield 4, which was just so amazing, in the scope of just how big the maps were, the graphics, the gameplay, the sounds, everything. To then go into Ghosts, which I'm not used to, even though I played Black Ops 2, but just going from the massive maps to the small maps in Ghosts to just being what is this sort of thing?
And plus the Ghost graphics aren't that great. But I think the reason that Ghost doesn't look great, especially on 360 and PS3, is that they made it for the Xbox One. Not totally, but they made it so it'd run smooth on there. And then all they changed was just made the textures work. Because when you play it on PS4, for example, it doesn't look incredible, but it's very sharp and it's very smooth. And then if you just take away, which is the same as Black Ops 2 looked like that, but then if you take that away and it doesn't look as sharp, then it just looks really
muddy.
I don't know, because they didn't do anything incredible with the lighting or, effects or anything. So it does feel very last gen still. Yeah. I hope they need a new engine, a really, either a highly changed engine or a new one. We need some destructible environments and not just doors opening and closing. Some realism.
Like Red Faction.
Well, not quite that far. I don't know if people will be able to take down the whole building, but I don't know.
Just put a block of C4 underneath one column and a whole freaking building falls.
I think you can't have a Twitch shooter where you can destroy buildings because it just doesn't work. Because then you change the landscape and it just becomes a big flat area or something. But I want things to break and crumble, and if I throw a grenade in a room, if I saw part of the wall really damaged, that would be cool. Even just that. At the moment,
it's
like,
not
you
coming out.
throw a grenade in a room and it looks exactly the same afterwards. It's like, well, that's not right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with the next one, maybe they'll see that people voted with their wallets sort of thing, or just whatever with Ghosts, and they will be like, we've been following the same formula for this long. It's worked. Now maybe with Ghosts, not so much. The next one will be the change we want to see sort of thing.
Well, there's not as many people playing it, and they can't deny that. Like, if you go on Xbox One right now and play Cranked, I bet there's about 20 people playing that game mode, and that was their big game mode, really, that they were selling. So the numbers speak for themselves, I suppose. But I think the sales numbers are still incredible. It's just the play numbers are terrible.
Yeah. Well, this thing, like, I bought it. I don't play it, so yeah.
And the thing is, like, I still think there's a large proportion of the demographic that swears blindly that they won't pay for another one, but they're just like us, and they will buy it, and it will be, the equivalent of buying something in a Steam sale, and it's sitting, in your virtual wallet kind of thing. You bought it, you just don't play it all that much. I mean, I downloaded the DLC the other day and played a few games of the. Is it Unearthed? What's the Dome remake called, Jay?
Yeah, that's Dome, yeah.
Unearthed. So, and I played a few games of that, got the nostalgic feels back, and then okay, turn it off. I've got stuff to do, and then haven't played it since Friday. So, yeah, and it's a shame because I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a good segue. The 360 port of Titanfall, by all accounts, looks to be pretty smooth and pretty sweet.
Yeah, apparently it's great.
9 from
But isn't that-
GameSpot, 9 from Xbox.
Well, some people I've heard said that it basically looks exactly the same as the Xbox One version.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is a
funny.
little bit of a kick in the pants, but yeah.
I have to say, I did think when I was playing it on Xbox One the first few times I saw it, I was like, look, this doesn't look great, but I understand
doesn't
because
look
there's
next
a hell of a
gen.
lot going on, and so and it's trying to hit 60 frames, so I'll forgive it. But then if you take that game and it's exactly the same 360, then I'll start asking questions like, there's no way you're telling me. I know for a fact that game could look a lot better on PS4, for example. Like, I play it on PC, and I've luckily got a PC that will run it on Ultra 1080p, and it looks. I think it could look like that on the consoles. Like, I don't see why on the new consoles, like, they've got 8 gigs of RAM, decent graphics card. If they were well optimized, they could look like high setting 1080p games, and it just doesn't. But the problem is with a game that's fast paced like that, you don't always notice the high resolution because there's so much going on. So running 1080p, I think developers sometimes see as a bit pointless.
That was my argument, yeah. I mean, I've got it on both as well. And, probably Ben and I played... When did we play, Ben? Was it 2 weeks ago? 2 Saturdays ago?
Yeah, a couple of weeks
And
ago.
I think I'm probably at, like, level 30 on PC. And even with that graphical wowness, I'm still far, far greater through it on the Xbox One. So, yeah, I think
That still just blows my mind, that. That's just crazy. It's just... yeah.
Well,
Just
it looks good on
Begin
360.
rant.
No. I'm not going to rant. But it's just... I just using it, obviously, it's personal preference, but using a controller for a first-person shooter, I don't see how that's, like, comfortable. But you even said as well, like, when I play it on my PC, I want to get, like, the Xbox One controller so I can play with the controller on my PC.
No,
That's mental.
I have to make an admission. When I play PC, I use my SCUF controller, and at first I was like, "What am I doing with my life? Like, I'm trying to be a PC gamer, and I'm using a SCUF controller." And I've actually tried it before. I tried it with Battlefield. I tried it with Black Ops back in the day, playing PC with a controller. It just doesn't work. It just did not work. But Titanfall works because, number one, for some reason the controls are pretty responsive, and you can be very accurate with a controller. But also, like, a PC and mouse is difficult to use sometimes. Like, for instance, if I need to turn around 360, that's difficult to do with a PC with a mouse. Unless you've got your sensitivity really high, you don't have that ability to constantly turn at a smooth and exact pace. Like, for example, if I press right on the thumbstick, I know the exact speed that I'm going to move. If I move the mouse, it depends on how fast I move the mouse, depends on how quickly I'm going to turn. So having that kind of set speed allows you to get used to it, like, especially if you've got a sensitive mouse. I know you can like desensitize it, but the problem is the less sensitive you make your mouse, the harder it is to make bigger turns, and without lifting it up all the time. So, and also Titanfall, a lot of it is in a Titan, and you don't need precision accuracy in a Titan. You just don't. Like, controller's fine. So yeah, I mean, I think it is strange that a first-person shooter on PC suits a controller, but Titanfall does. It's just
that's
works absolutely
But
fine.
isn't there also like slight aim assist with the controller on PC as well? Am I just imagining that, or did I make that up, or did I hear that?
You know,
I thought there was aim assist. No, okay, that's cool.
I mean, there might be. I think it's subtle. I haven't noticed it, if there is. But
which is fine. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, because I want it like a level playing field sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But like I said, when I played other first-person shooters with a controller, I found it so difficult that maybe there is on Titanfall. Maybe there is, and it's so well done I don't notice it. But I don't know. It's definitely not obvious. Like when you aim down sight, it's not like in COD when you aim down sight and someone runs past and your aim goes all over the place like that.
Yeah.
That's the worst. But
Well, yeah. See, just with me, it feels like I'm just doing something like with my left hand, where it's just no control over it with a mouse and keyboard. But that's just personal preference. I'm used to it, but it just feels so much better. But yeah. But anyway.
Well, I mean, with all this talk about graphical fidelity and you know, the 1080 penis and
penis.
Yeah, 1080 penis.
1080 penis.
It's the same as 980 penis and 1080
penis.
Yeah, I'll flex my 1080 penis. Oh, where's Ron? He'd bite at that. He would bite at my 1080 penis.
Bite at it.
He would bite at
He
your
would
penis.
totally bite. I mean, I'm predicting Ben to be somewhat proud of me this week in that I will need to cancel my Watch Dogs pre-order for the Xbox One in favour of the PC edition.
Oh snap!
Yes.
Obviously buying it through my G2A link, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
Obviously.
What's the website for that again, Jay? Just quickly.
Oh, what? I haven't already ordered it. I'll get it for you, Skills. Don't worry.
Well,
I've actually got a custom link for that, but
well,
Yeah,
feel free to promote anyway. No, the only reason I did it through this one particular retailer is because, you know, I mean, look at the background. There's figurines all over the place. So they've got a figurine that comes with this one. So, but yeah, I got it on PC. And I'm like, you know, can't wait because of all this whole, you know, resolution battle bullshit. I don't want to with that game. You know, that game pretty much sold me on how good it looked. I think I was in Europe last year when E3 was happening, and all the sort of updated stuff on Watch Dogs and stuff was like, holy crap, this game looks amazing. And any sort of compromise on that, not willing to do it. So it's like, PC.
Have you seen the new videos that have come out?
I have, and guess who's got NVIDIA video cards? 2 of them.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what do you don't have two 780s, do you? What do you have again? I know I designed it for you, but I can't remember.
2 680s.
680s.
It's 32 gigs of RAM, i7 4770.
Okay, which we haven't even overclocked yet, which is just fucking ridiculous. My God. Anyway,
Finn.
yeah. Finn. Yeah, so we need to start using this bad boy, and you need to start playing more things on PC. Everyone should.
Skillsy, you're a perfect candidate actually for a Shield. I guess, did you see my review of it?
I did. I took great pleasure in liking it, in the hope that when are you going to do a giveaway or something?
Giveaway? You give me one to give away first. Are they available in Australia? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Not yet.
No, they.
I mean, obviously you could import it, but because that's what the guy said to me. If you wanted one in the UK badly, but to be honest, for the price point, it's probably not worth it. But yeah, I mean, once they have the update where you can play your games from anywhere, like you could be at the office on your lunch break or whatever, I don't care, and you could, access your home PC from that, and you could just play Titanfall Watch Dogs at your office
on the toilet. At
1080p. Yeah, as long as you've got a decent Wi-Fi connection. I have to say, like, you do need a decent Wi-Fi. Like, you can't be in the toilet and be getting a 2-bar Wi-Fi connection and still have a playable experience. But it's for someone who like goes out to work, maybe got a few free hours, and they're at a place that has a Wi-Fi connection, a good one, because you can't even plug it in Ethernet 'cause there's no port on it, which would be nice for a guaranteed connection. But once you can do that, that makes it a real nice piece of kit, like, because that's the selling point. Just depends how much you want to play PC games, not in your house, really, For some people, like myself even, to be honest, when I'm out of the house, it's like a nice break from gaming. So I guess some people who have like a bit busier lives than me, they don't get a chance to play games as much as they'd like. So I think they can play.
To be honest, if I occupied any sort of 3 hours with anything gaming related more than what I do right now, I think my fiance might murder me.
Yeah, it's true. But you could always, I don't know, you could pretend. Yeah, it's just a handheld.
When you say at lunch, I mean, there's plenty of occasions where, I'm at lunch and at a loose end kind of thing, and, I break up Titanfall games into 10-minute blocks. Usually they average about 10 minutes. So it's like, you know what, I'm quite happy to, eat my lunch, just chill for about 20 minutes, and then just jump on for a few games, and then rank up whilst I'm at work. I mean, I can't imagine any better use of work time than that.
Yeah, I think for people, it is a bit of a niche. But if you have a decent PC with an NVIDIA card in, it's not a bad idea, depending on what you do with your time. But
I like how you filmed it as well, like how you presented it and how clear it was as well. I was amazed at how clear it came.
I was surprised because when I first used it, it wasn't that clear. And then the guy said to me, one of the NVIDIA guys, like, "Oh, make sure that your Wi-Fi is on the 5 gigahertz setting, not the 2.4. And I changed that, and then ever since I changed that, that's it. I could get it only outputs 720p at the moment, but it was obviously 720p. That made a big difference to how fun it was, because before it was very blocky, and I was like, well, there's no real point. I might as well play a mobile game, because it just looks like a mobile game anyway, with the blockiness. But yeah, I think the idea of you're going to be able to use it as a console, like a games console. So if you go, teenagers or people go to their friend's house, and instead of taking their Xbox and they haven't got anything to do, they can plug that in and then play PC games, or even games that are on the Shield, or even plug it in and watch Netflix. It's an Android device, so plug it into a TV. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger on the whole Vita thing back when the PS4 came out, because there was that whole... They haven't seemed to push that all that much, have they? Considering that was supposed to be a major selling point, the whole active player, whatever they call it.
I'm hoping it becomes a major thing with Watch Dogs. I can see that game using the Vita, and also the Xbox One using the the Xbox.
What's it called?
You mean the Vita?
Smart glass or something.
You can do that with the Vita with your PS4. Yeah.
Oh,
it's an interesting point, although the only example I saw, it didn't look very good, like as good as the NVIDIA Shield. But yeah, I guess you can do it with your Vita as well. It's not as nice for controller though, obviously.
No. So there's that. And just as another sort of segue, there's actually I can't believe I'm even saying this myself, Watch Dogs clothing. For the grand price of something like $328, don't know whether that's Australian or probably American, you can get yourself kitted out like Aiden Pearce.
Right.
I've got to say, it's a pretty smart looking jacket. If I was to see that, to all credit, if I was to see that on a thing, on a shelf somewhere, or on a hanger, or any one of the retailers here.
But the embarrassing thing is, if people ask, you got to tell them where you got it.
I know.
Then you lose all the cool factor of a nice jacket.
Well, what you'd have to do first is pull the balaclava off your face and then tell them where you got it from, because they're selling it as a complete, an ensemble. So it's like the jacket, you got the white turtleneck underneath, the whole balaclava cap.
So it's a costume.
Well, that's it. Yeah, the amount of cosplayers that you're going to see it like Supernova, or you're going to see it.
That's an expensive costume, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Mind you, though, with the amount of Australian cosplayer girls that we've got here, it could be quite a nice investment.
Oh, I just don't get cosplay at all. I just don't get it.
You get the appeal of it or the end result, but not so much the actual act of.
No, I get it why you do it. I mean, I kind of understand how like it's fun to dress up. Like I get that, but beyond that, I don't know. But because I suppose it's the age of the internet. Before the internet, I'd never know there was such a strong cosplay scene, so I'd never see it. But obviously, because of the internet, it's like, oh, cosplay event, and you're like, what is this shit? Like, and so you look at it and you're like, really? I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's things I do that other people will be like, I don't understand why it's fun. So I get the fact that just because don't get it doesn't mean it's like not an amazing fun thing to do. But I know I just don't like the idea of wanting to be something you're not. You know, it's like a lot of people get a real almost it's like escapism, like a lot of things that we do for fun. But I don't know. It's I don't know, like worshipping characters or something. You know, just.
In real life, I can't be a 40-foot Titan. That's the only reason I play Titanfall. So,
and I suppose because I'm kind of short, I can't play any cool characters myself. So maybe that's why I don't like it. So,
but picture this.
Apart from Wolverine, because he's short.
Picture this. You're at Gamescom, and Jessica Negri comes up to you.
Yeah.
I think you'll find a newfound appreciation for cosplay.
Not really,
Should
man.
she drape those arms around you? Well, insert name here. It could be anyone.
Like,
When Ben and I were at the Titanfall event a few weeks back, and there was a couple of sort of gaming personalities in the Australian scene kind of thing that Ben and I took great pleasure in sharing space with.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it just totally transforms them. It's crazy. So one of them in particular does. She does Wonder Woman a lot, and she just looks fantastic. And you got a few other ones that vary their characters depending on who they sort of align with even more. But it's and Supernova's up in Brisbane at the moment, so I'm seeing all these things coming through on Twitter from Alana Pierce and a few other people dressing up in tightly fitting Spider-Man gear, which again looks quite fantastic.
I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. That's what I'm going to say, but I get it.
Yeah. What else have we got here? Elder Scrolls Online. How are you finding that, Jay? I've seen a few of your streams, and it's hard for me to read how much you're enjoying it or getting frustrated at.
It's a game where if you play on your own, it can get very lonely, unless you just generally enjoy the grind. But with friends, it's as much fun as you can have. But that's like that with a lot of games, really. Like it transforms the experience when you play with other people. Like some games can be so dull. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing with people and doing the right kind of things. It's a great game, I think. I think it's a great game, but it's a problem because I think it would have a lot more commercial success if it didn't have the pay monthly fee to it. But at the same time, that's what they're going for, that kind of ever-evolving world that, to run something like that, they feel that they need to have a monthly fee. I just feel like the monthly fee is too much at the moment. Like, even if you find a really good deal, it's like £8 a month. And I think 5 is pushing it. 5 is all right, maybe, but
also,
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough selling it to people when they know they're going to have to pay monthly. Do you know what I mean? Like I say to my friends, "Oh, like, do you want to play this?" And I need to pay monthly. I'm like, "Yeah, but you get a month free." What they're worried about is they buy it and then they've just got a dead game after a month if they don't renew. Whereas, and you don't want to spend 30 quid on something that might be dead to you the next month if you don't feel like or have the money to invest again. So it's a hard sale, but for people who like that style of thing, it's great. Like I want to play it more. I just need more people to play with, but it's a hard sale, like I say.
I reckon with the way that it's going, it'll be like free to play within the year, just because the reports. Hopefully that's when I will start playing. But from what I did the beta and I was pretty bored. Like, this is pretty, I mean, the beta's pretty hard to go. From what I hear, the final version is completely different to what the beta was. But still, people are saying it's really generic. There's nothing much new to it, sort of thing. And then people are just, they're just saying, we're just going to wait till it's free to play. So, yeah.
But then I suppose how quickly do you do that without annoying people that have paid for it?
Who will pay for it, exactly, yeah.
Make it free to play the next couple of months. I'm pretty annoyed because I've already spent the money. So
The thing is, though, I've probably spoken to maybe half a dozen people who will readily admit that they'll, pay the upfront cost for the game. They'll play it probably for the first month and then they'll put it down. And that seems to be the trend because they don't see. I mean, conversion-wise, it's what, $15? $15 here, Ben?
I think it's a bit more. I think it's about close to 30 for us.
That's I know that's their annuity stream, but for fuck's sake, that's.
Isn't it £15? Sorry, isn't it £15 a month?
For us, no. Well, I've found a deal where you can get 2 months for £16.
Oh,
but,
okay.
I think it's closer to 10 if you don't look around for deals. Depends on what kind of subscription you get. Obviously, if you get a 6 month, it drops it. If you get a 2 month, it's more. But the thing is as well, I know it's a kind of a high price point, but if you really do get into it, there is a hell of a lot of content, like much more than in any single player game you'll ever play. So I suppose they try and justify it like that. But for someone who's not sure if they're going to invest their whole life in it, it doesn't sound like good value at all. So
I think people equate it to other games that they might play as well, and thinking of it as monthly DLC. It's kind of at the price point of monthly DLC.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to get the
It's
value
tough,
out of
man.
it,
I mean, if you really get into it, it will be your game. Like you can do like massive battles and getting guilds or whatever. But if you're not so into that and you just want to play it a bit, it's a difficult purchase.
it's like it's the ultimate microtransaction that just makes no bones about it and says we're going to fuck you monthly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, World of Warcraft's been doing it for years, and other games like that. So it's not exactly new. It's just new to people who, like, the Elder Scrolls, because it's Skyrim and that was popular on console, and the Elder Scrolls have been popular on console. There's this new crowd who'd like to play it that aren't really fond of monthly fees for a game they don't know if they're going to play for years.
Yeah.
So how do you think World of Warcraft got away with that for so long? Well, not so much got away with it, but made it an
How
attractive
addictive it
proposition.
was, wasn't it? People got addicted to it.
One of a kind. At the time.
I played the shit out of that. My God.
Skyrim doesn't, well, not Elder Scrolls Online doesn't seem to have the addictive factor to it, but if you enjoy it, you could get addicted. But it's not like World of Warcraft levels of addictive at the moment, for sure.
No way.
Well, I think World of Warcraft also had the social interaction at the time.
Way more social.
You could just go in and just talk to people. You didn't even have to play. And that was something that was new.
Like text or mic or like audio.
Both.
You just didn't have a game where you could have like so many people that you could talk to at the same time.
To be fair, you can do that on Elder Scrolls. It's just people don't tend to, really.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's kind of this thing where I see people running around and I could say, oh, let's pair up and go do this quest with me. But I'm thinking, I don't know who they are. Like, they're probably just some weirdo, like just some like 13-year-old who barely knows what day of the week it is. I don't want him following me around trying to do a quest. Like, it's just going to be a headache for me instead of
Who's the
fun.
guy you
Well, I
do it
think
with
that was also-
usually? Who's that guy? I feel like I've known his voice from somewhere else.
What I was playing with.
Yeah.
His name's Liam. He's called The Legal Eagle on YouTube. But he's been really into it, and he was just saying, oh, you're going to get it soon, you're going to get it soon. I was like, yeah, all right, as long as you play with me. So, yeah, we played, and I've been playing with him because he's addicted to it. He actually loves it. Like, I can only play it for 2-3 hours at a time, and I'm like, look, I've got to have a rest now. Maybe I'll play tonight or tomorrow for another hour or two. But then I'll come back 4 hours later. He's like, oh, I've been on it ever since you left. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. He loves it. So obviously you can get to that point. I don't know if just because he's got that addictive personality or he really thinks the game's that amazing. I'm not sure, but there are people who are addicted to it, like there will be with every game.
Drinking that Kool-Aid. Yeah. All right, let's go for another topic, shall we? Let's go with Benny.
Yeah.
Goat Simulator. I played about 10 minutes of it today.
Yeah. You probably. Yeah.
Is that
Wanna
10
play
minutes
another
too
10
much,
minutes?
or am I going to be plodding through that, trying to knock over everything? Because I mean, I've got my Michael Bay achievement. I've got my, you know, I pretty much
Police.
vaulted myself
Yeah.
out of a map, jumping off the high board at the swimming pool. That was pretty
At the
sweet.
moment, is that in beta stage or is this the game? Is it like an early development?
think it's- Yeah, I think it's still just early access alpha, I think.
Because it reminds me a lot of Octodad. Like, it's just like
Yeah.
funny and silly and you just do certain
It's exactly
things.
what it is.
Yeah.
And there's just the whole devil goat thing as well, where there's the tower with the goat in the top, and you go to the little spiral. You go up. You go into.
I
the
did that
top
first
window.
time. That was what I did
Oh,
in the
did
first
you?
10 minutes. Yeah. I thought I felt
Holy
like a
shit.
challenge. Yeah, you go into this hallway and you got
Yeah.
this red carpet with all these goats that sort of nod down to you as you sprint towards the throne. And then when
Right.
you get in there, you get set on fire and then just drops you back into the game again. I'm like,
And then I think if you press R, it drops goats from the sky.
yeah.
And then after that, to get to like the next level, you go all the way to the corner where there's like the little satanic circle.
Right.
And then you press R in there, and then you go to like the next level, and then you get some like more horns on your face, and you turn into even more of like a little devil goat. But I'm not sure where to go after that. I kind of lost interest after that. But
Well, that's cool. I've
yeah,
stumbled upon a portal to another world within the first 10 minutes of playing.
that's pretty good. You found that straight away. Yeah, I didn't find that after a couple of hours or whatever.
I mean, games with a sense of humour are something that is a bit underdeveloped for. So I think that's another reason why people really get, if a game makes them laugh, they're like, well, no one else does this, because it's risky for a developer to make a funny game. So you get these indie games that are just so stupid, but people love to laugh. I mean, funny videos are the most popular gaming videos on the whole of YouTube, but
Yep.
it's difficult for someone to go, oh yeah, well, what we're going to do is have a go, and it's going to like flop its face around. And I mean, maybe you'll get someone to go, yeah, sounds like a great idea, let's invest. But for the most part, it's just going to be indie games, but that's cool. There's good indie developers, so
You mentioned
big
about,
budget comedy games never really seem to work either. They're always really bad.
yeah,
Well,
they'll bring in a
true.
comedy writer or something, and then it's just geared for one particular type of humour.
Yeah. Like, it's like some stand-ups are incredible, but you show them to the wrong person and they'll be like, well, it's not funny at all, you know.
My dad, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I've tend to find, me personally as well, the stand-ups I enjoy, I'm getting really picky. I don't know why. It's just, I think a lot of them are just doing the same old humour, as I like it to evolve a bit, and
Yeah.
just weird taste change, but stand-ups are a bit hit and miss with me.
It's weird. It's one of those things where if you watch it by yourself, you find you don't laugh as much. But then if you're watching it with someone else, you find you laugh a lot more.
Yeah,
Even
well, I
though-
tend to find if they're not laughing, I won't laugh. But if I watch on my own and I find it funny, I'll be like, oh, I'll have a little laugh. I think, oh, that's funny. But if I'm watching with someone who's obviously not finding it funny, it's difficult. Whereas,
Yeah.
I know there are some comics that are just undeniably funny, like Lee Evans, for example, always used to be a big comic over here, and he's very physical comedy, and you just can't help but laugh at someone pulling all these stupid faces, and like, you know, it's just like universal. But when it comes to like dry humor or crass humor or something like dark humor, it's a lot more, you know, not as universal. So
Yeah. You got to be in the right mood before you watch Jimmy Carr or something like that.
yeah, I prefer to watch on my own, stand up, just for that reason. Because if they're not finding it funny, I feel weird enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know what though? I mean, I find the best cross section of comics tends to come on QI. Like, so I'll go around mum and dad's house on a Monday night for basketball, and then before or after it, depending on what time the game is, will be an episode of QI that Dad will record for me, and we'll sit down, and my dad tries his absolute hardest, I'm sure, just to not laugh at what he knows to be my type of humour. So you've got the smarts of Stephen Fry, and I mean, he can drop a line, as good as anyone else. But then you team it up with, the likes of Jimmy Carr or Rob Brydon or, Alan Davies. When Clarkson's on, it's a double treat because my dad just likes... no, they'd never get Frankie Boyle on. Christ. Is he even still relevant anymore, Jay? I mean, I heard the public kind of fell out of love with him.
I don't really play on TV anymore.
I don't think, I'm not a fan of sometimes what he says is good, but some people just love him just because he will say what other people won't, and I'm not particularly impressed by that, so I'm not a big...
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was the other one? Oh, Mock the Week's good for that as well. I mean, obviously the show that kind of made...
I always love those panel shows. For some reason, though, sometimes QI just sounds like a load of smart asses trying to outsmart each other. And it's like... It brings back those memories that I've talked about before on my podcast, where I used to do a music production degree, and we had some classes we had to share with the drama students, and it was just full of over dramatic drama school wannabes who are just constantly trying to one up each other, and it just gets old. And I don't know, if they're not quite on your same wavelength,
mental
it just
plane.
grates you. Yeah, without trying to sound ignorant or anything, it's just sometimes I watch a panel show and I'll just be sometimes it's great, but sometimes it is just people trying to outsmart each other. You can tell when there's conflict between them a bit, and they're trying to see who's the funniest comic in a way, by who comes out with the best line.
Yeah.
But other times they have better chemistry, and it's not so much like that, and that is obviously more enjoyable. But that's something that can spoil the atmosphere of the show if they're a bit... I don't know, it just feels like they're all trying to show off instead of just be funny. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, when I was back there, 4 months ago, I couldn't wait for the sort of Christmas special kind of thing to kind of happen, but I just thought it'd be good.
It's funny you say Jeremy Clarkson, actually, because I had a nightmare last night, and when I woke up, I put on Top Gear because I wanted something to watch, because without sounding like too much of a wish, it freaked me out so much I couldn't sleep again for about 20 minutes. And Jeremy Clarkson was on, and now I've kind of got that association of a nightmare and Top Gear, and I don't feel too comfortable about it. So, do you know what's funny about the nightmare is that, I guess you heard of what's that type of dreaming where you can control it? Where
Lucid dreaming.
Yeah. Well, and there's some things where they say when you're having dreams or nightmares, ways you can wake yourself up or get out of it. And one of them is if you're in a dream and you're kind of conscious, try pinching yourself because it doesn't work, or try hurting yourself because you can't. And then your body knows it's a dream and you can start to get out of it in consciousness. And the way I stopped my nightmare, it was horrible. What my nightmares are normally they're not so much horrific things happening. It's I can't do anything about things because I can feel my body's paralyzed, and I can't move around, and things will be happening, not that are too horrific, just situations that aren't pleasant, and I feel like I can't move my body, and it's that kind of claustrophobic fear. But anyway, how I woke myself up was I was actually in my room, in the dream, in my bedroom, and I went to almost roll over towards the mirror because I couldn't stand up. I felt like I was just a heap, and the only way I woke up is I managed to push myself towards the mirror and then try and look at myself in the mirror, and it was so difficult to get my head in the dream to turn and look at the mirror. But doing that, as soon as I started to look at the mirror, I could wake up. It was really difficult, and I managed to do it. But it's strange how your mind, if it looks in a mirror in your dream, it can tell it's not real, and so that will allow you to wake up. It's because I was obviously in a state where I wasn't completely under, but I was conscious enough to be able to think, I try and wake up from this. But it's scary, really, because to be fair, when you go to sleep, you're in another realm, psychologically. You are not in the real world. And for all you know, you could be dead and this could be hell. It's not... and it's not until you get that moment where you're like, okay, it's not real. But when I woke up, for a good like 10 minutes, I was like, shit, I don't want to go back there. Do you know what I mean? Like, but my body was so tired that I had to in the end, and I was just like, luckily I didn't go into another bad dream. But yeah, it's horrible feeling.
Wow.
I thought before you started that story that your dream was actually about Jeremy Clarkson. And I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I was waiting for Jeremy Clarkson. What was he doing to you, sort of thing?
well,
It wasn't.
You looked in the mirror and you were Jeremy Clarkson.
Exactly what it was. But like I said, my bad dreams or nightmares aren't horrific things happening. It's that I can't control anything because I can't move or something. Like, it might be something horrible happening, but the real fear, because one of my fears is like a kind of claustrophobic anxiety style attack. Like, that's one of the things I have that I'm not comfortable with. And so, but that my dream plays to that, and it knows that if I feel like I can't move or I'm in a situation I can't get out of physically, I'll panic. And that plays on my mind. So it doesn't have to be something terrifying, like someone stabbing me or something. It's the psychological fear of that. Yeah, it's horrible. It's my worst thing.
I mean, there's worse things in the world. Waking up as Jeremy Clarkson with his money in his garage. I mean, that's
Yeah, but all it is that after I had that dream, I saw Jeremy Clarkson and then I went to sleep again. So I've kind of got a little bit of the association still from my nightmare with him.
Right. Sorry,
I'm sure I'll be fine watching Top Gear.
What were you going to say, Ben? I cut you off before.
So no, it's okay. I was just going to say, talking of like being claustrophobic, I made the mistake of watching some videos on, I think it's called spelunking, but it's the part where they go through the really tight...
Cave diving.
Yeah, it's like cave diving, but they go through the really, really tight crevices. So where basically they have the oxygen tanks, but they can't fit through. So they then have to take the oxygen tanks and put it ahead of them and then go through and stretch their entire body out and get as thin as possible to get through these spots. And every now and then they'll get stuck, and they've got the little head camera on.
Fuck that.
And you just...
No.
It feels like someone is sitting on your chest just watching it, because you can see them like struggling, trying to get through, and it is terrifying.
And they're paying money for this because they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, enjoy
Yeah.
it. Fucking hell, no way. You couldn't pay
It
me
is
enough
so
to do
scary. Nah, no way. And like, it's dark. It's like they're underwater, or they're up to like, up to their waist in water, or they have to lie horizontal and like crawl through it. It's just...
And there's no experts in that either. I mean, if there were, there'd be, the amount of times you hear about like these spelunking adventures where, a flash flood will just kill half a dozen people. And it was like,
It could have
really?
rained like 3 days ago, and the rain could still be working its way through the system. So the water level just rises like instantly. So it doesn't even have to be raining outside.
Do you know the
Crazy.
funny thing is as well is that they might enjoy that kind of activity, like they put themselves in that frame, but then they might see some other activity that someone else enjoys, which is like adrenaline pumping. They might be like, oh, I would do that. That's way too scary. Like bungee jumping or something. Like, oh, that's way too scary. But yeah, they're comfortable going into really tight spaces, and strange how people was like have different fears and they're okay with that, just enough to do it. Like they might be
spiders and
scared of
shit.
spiders or something, I don't know. Like,
I mean, you could put me in a sleeping bag and pull the hood of the sleeping bag over my head and hold that there, and nail it shut so that I couldn't get out, and I'd probably still freak out, even though it's an irrational fear of, not being able to get out.
Yeah.
It would still freak the fuck out of me. Yeah, I've always been like that.
I remember when I was a kid, someone put me in a cardboard box. Flipped out. I just went ballistic. It was a cardboard box. Like, what the fuck is going to happen to me? But they put me in there, and I thought, and then it made it out as if like they left. So I thought I was like stuck in this box by myself because they put something on top.
right.
I've been scared of cardboard boxes ever since.
Well, I think in some primitive way, it probably, it makes you feel like a coffin. And like, it's not a situation that people have been in before.
Well, it's a perfectly rational fear, but it's just one that's quite intense. Like, obviously, there's a reason why you're scared of being trapped, because you're screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. For me, I notice it a lot because I don't have like a fear of certain animals or particularly heights or any things really. But for me, that's the one thing that I can't mentally deal with as well as the other things. Other things I can rationalize a bit more, but for some reason that kind of claustrophobic thing, not even the fear of small spaces, is more a fear of situations I can't control or get out of. I mean, I'm not a control freak, but it's a situation where I'm being held against my will and there's nothing I can do about it. That's where my fear kicks in. Whereas other people might be like, oh, well, I don't see it like that, so I'm not frightened. And
I can find my way out of a cardboard box as well. So I mean,
yeah, well, it's like I used to have a fear of dogs when I was a little kid because I knew some quite aggressive ones, and like I'd been snapped at by a few and all this. But as I get older, I was just like, well, if it snaps me, I'll just kick it in the head. So, but so you know, as you get older, you're not scared of a cardboard box anymore because you just bust it open. But yeah, so there's some ones you can grow out of just because of, you know, you can do something about the situation. But if you're like a little 6-year-old kid and some dog comes charging up to you, there's not a lot you can do if that thing wants to take you by the neck, is there? So
I had a holiday in Yorkshire in like 1986 or 87, and it was on a farm. And we just come out of the farmhouse kind of thing, and this red setter, which, you know, at the time was probably about as tall as me, this gangly ginger red horse of a dog just comes bounding over to me. I flipped the fuck out, and I think from that point for about another 6 months or so I was scared of dogs, but now I'm an out and out dog person. But it was just freaky as fuck seeing this thing just gallop towards you.
I used to have that really bad fear of, because I was scared of dogs in general because I saw most of them as aggressive and I thought they'd all go for me, that if I went to a park to play football and someone took their dog to the park and they let it off the lead and it was like sprinting around, I would just freak the fuck out. Like, unless it was like a real tiny dog, any dog like medium size or bigger, because I was quite small as well, I'd be so scared, even if it was on the other side of the field, because I felt like that dog's out of control. Once it's off the lead, there's no, you know, if it wants to come for me, it can. And I mean, that'd be even difficult now. I mean, if you saw some aggressive dogs, I mean, I don't know, bloody pack of wolves or something, geez, I'd shit my pants. But yeah, luckily with domestic dogs, it's not so bad.
Every time I'm playing Ghosts and some dogs, I hear that, you know, some dogs are on the loose, I get scared because, I mean, thankfully I can shoot these ones. But
yeah, wolves are the one though. Wolves are dangerous, man. Like I was reading this thing about how like in France they've still got a problem in Paris where like they're like wolves that like kill people basically because they're in packs, and it's dangerous to get caught out with wolves. Like they're
Paris?
Evil and they will take you out. Huh?
In Paris?
Or surrounding suburbs and stuff. But like apparently back in the 1800s and so on, there was a problem even in the capital of people wouldn't walk around at night because there was wolves. Like, I mean, in England, we only have like foxes really. There's like stray canines, I suppose is how you'd explain it. But yeah, wolves are a big problem because they're big as well. Like they've got a lot in America and things like that. But yeah, that would be a scary thing because wolves are smart and they get in packs.
Yeah.
They're quite ferocious, like compared to other animals.
By the time you see one, you're already surrounded.
Well, I remember actually once when I was drunk, I went back to a friend's house and he was meeting me there. We kind of split up over the night and I said, I'll meet you back at your house. And I remember I was waiting outside of his house and I just sat down on the curb outside and I was just texting away on my phone or whatever it was. And I look up and all of a sudden there was 5 foxes surrounding me about 6 feet away from me, all of them. And but luckily I was drunk, so my reaction was like, fuck these wolves, and I just jumped up and just chased after them. But because obviously I was, at the time, must have looked like kind of smallish prey, because I was sitting down on the floor, and they might have thought I had some food or scraps. And to be honest, they didn't look as if they were about to jump on me. I think they kind of looked like, oh, has he got any food, you know? But at the same time, like, there was that mentality, you know, they obviously all grouped around me. They probably thought, you know, I doubt one of them would have come up to me that close, but 5 of them are like, yeah, okay. But I did chase them as well. It's kind of fun. I wish I'd have got one. I really wanted to just boot one just for the fun of it, because you can say, oh, it's self-defense if a fox chased you, but you can't just go around booting foxes.
Do they smell like really bad? like there as well?
You don't really get close enough to them. They only really come out at night, apart from if they're really hungry. It's funny because there was one, like my nan's got a conservatory and I was round there, and there was one a couple of days ago that came right up to basically the door. Luckily they're not very big, so not very, like if they were big, they'd be very intimidating because they are wild. But it just comes up, sniffs around the bins, saw there was nothing, and then jumped over the fence into the next garden. But yeah, basically they go through people's bins and find all the scraps, and they live in the forest. You don't tend to like be walking down the street and you see a fox. They try and stay away from people as much as possible.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's nighttime and really early morning. You'll still see them in the suburbs, but then during the day they just disappear.
You do see them run. You do see dead foxes on the road all the time around here. Like they get run over a lot because cars, obviously.
And they've banned fox hunting as well. So
if you replace those foxes with wolves, I would move because luckily they're not big. They're not that big.
So you're probably sitting on your mate's doorstep with a kebab, and it was like, these 5 foxes just come up to you.
I don't think I'll do that again. Like, sit there with food in the middle of the night. Like, they always go through my bins. If I don't put my bins up high or in a plastic bin, like your bin bags, then they'll go through them and make a mess all over the place. So,
Wow.
It's weird though because they look so much. They look almost like a mix between a dog and a cat in a way, but. You know, I mean, I'm a dog lover, and in a weird way, sometimes I look at one, I'm like, oh, that'd make a nice pet. But then I'm thinking,
well, that's the thing. They're domesticating them in Russia. Basically, I watched this weird documentary on it where basically they breed them, and then they pick the nice ones, like the most placid ones out of the litter, and then they breed those ones and keep them going down the line. And then it gets to like a genetic stage where you know that like domestication is working when their tails start wagging. That's like the sign of domestication. And now they're starting to do that. So it's only a matter of time now till they're going to
breed with a domestic dog, or are they too far apart for it to work? Because that'd be interesting.
I think
like a fox crossbreed. That'd be kind of cool in a way.
Yeah.
Did I see you were in the market for a dog this week?
What, me?
Yeah. Frenchie.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've got so many people pressuring me now because I've always talked about it, and I thought, oh, yeah, maybe. But then I've put myself off by facts of saying, I mean, I live in rented accommodation, and I thought, well, obviously it's a big commitment for a dog, you know, especially if you get a young one. It's like going to be alive for a long time, and if I move somewhere, I have to go somewhere that says no pets, and I'd hate to like find my ideal apartment or house and not be able to move there because of my dog, you know. So I thought. I've kind of put it off, but I've kind of rationalised it by saying I'm only going to get a small dog, number one, and number two, it's given me motivation to buy my next place instead of rent, so that I actually end up buying somewhere, because otherwise I'm going to be like in my 40s and still not own anywhere. So,
welcome to my
world. I'm about 80% there with the dog thing. I just need to find one, know what I'm going to get, because there's actually a dogs trust opening near me for like rehoming dogs, so I could go look there, but I kind of like certain breeds, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
I mean, I think I commented on one thing or put something in a YouTube video or whatever it was, however I found out that you wanted to get a dog. We originally wanted to get a pug, or pug was in our top 3 kind of thing. And, then my fiance's friend at work said they shed all the time, like irrespective of the season. They just drop fur left, right and center. So that's kind of been like the red light for us for that particular breed. So we're just like, right, don't worry about that breed.
The problem is though, you can do that with any breed if you talk to the right person. Like someone will say something derogatory about some breed. It just depends how big of an issue it is for you. Like I actually really like the idea of a bulldog, like a British bulldog, but apparently they've got really bad like health issues in terms of their breathing and their skin. Yep. And I kind of thought, oh, okay. So what I'm kind of looking into now is like crossbreeds of like bulldog terrier style dogs, like the what was it, the Boston Terrier and the Bulgan Terrier. And when I look at those dogs, I'm like, yeah, that's actually the kind of thing I'm after. Because I want a small dog, but I don't want a toy dog. I don't want like a stupid like little thing someone will put in their purse, you know. But I also don't want a dog that's going to outgrow somewhere if I don't manage to get a big place, because I've only got like a 1-bedroom place right now, and so there's not much room for it to walk. So it needs to not absolutely need a lot of exercise all the time. But something that's kind of like a bulldog cross is going to be like a tough little dog, but also small enough to not be intimidating. Like my sister's got a 4-year-old niece. I don't want a dog that's going to be intimidating around her. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But then
Frenchie's
bulldogs can
perfect
be a
for
bit
that.
feisty depending on how you raise them. So
Frenchies are good for that. They stay. I mean, you can get miniature French bulldogs that kind
They're
of stay
small,
at the
aren't they?
size you like. Yeah, miniature Dachshunds, which is our favourite breed. Like little sausage dog kind of thing. They're cool.
yeah. Sausage dogs are kind of funny. They remind me, I used to have this babysitter. She was an old woman. She had a sausage dog. Just reminds me of like an old woman's dog. And also, I want a dog where I can walk it and like not feel like an idiot. Like a sausage dog, I don't know. But something that's some kind of, like a Bulgan Terrier is a beagle and a beagle and a bulldog cross.
Right.
And they look really cool. So I'll be happy with that. But yeah, sausage dog, nah. Like, I want something I'll walk and it's not going to look...
You're not to know this, but
Dopey
in
or
the
something.
70s, it was the gay man's dog of choice. Not that I'm obviously getting it for that. That's just ridiculous. A Daxi, yeah. My fiance's parents used to live in the city, and the amount of Daxies that would just walk around on sort of draped over the arm of just walking down Oxford Street or something. Just, all right, darling.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But I just like the breed. They're
I
cool.
don't want anything that fits in a handbag. That would be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, wish you luck. It's going to be nice. It's a nice experience, dog shopping. It's cool. I had a boxer. I mean, I could see you with a boxer. It's
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
but they're
got
too
that
big, aren't they?
aggressive face, and you can keep them at relatively small size.
Oh, and I think they get too big, a boxer.
Yeah.
It'd be a nightmare if they got big. No, they're quite big, aren't they, boxers?
So if you get a
Some of
female
them are
one,
huge.
I mean, genetically they're just smaller than. I mean, the good way to do it is to look at how big their paws are when they're a puppy, and obviously if they're a male dog as well. So if you can get a female boxer with relatively small paws, like she'll only grow to to be a medium-sized dog. But again, it's it's what you do with your.
But literally, at the moment, I've literally live in one room and a bedroom, so it needs to be quite small for now. Like,
Well, don't do what my sister did. Pro tip: Saint Bernard. Don't get a Saint Bernard.
oh no, I'm not stupid. Like because I don't even have a back garden. I mean, I've got a front garden that like I could take it out to, and I have got lots of parks and things around to walk it to, but I couldn't have a medium-sized dog and not have a garden. I'd feel like really out of order.
Yeah.
Need like more of a housey dog,
That's
if possible.
Roaring
Very big
log
for a dog.
fire, just for it to curl up in front of.
Don't have none of that, mate, in here.
I read something for Ben.
Ooh,
Hotline Miami 2.
yeah, that was one of my topics. But yeah, Hotline Miami 2, wrong number, dial tone, or something like that. Should be awesome.
Because I never actually
Can't wait.
played the first one. The soundtrack apparently was a big deal. And how
Oh,
awesome
the
that was.
soundtrack is on my iPod. Oh, it's so good. Like that 80s acid rock techno shit. So good. And then, yeah, I saw the trailer for this one a couple of days ago. And yeah, it looks more of the same, but with a little bit of extra stuff, and I can't wait for it.
Cool.
Yeah, I really, really like the first one. Just simple game. I like that style, good gameplay. Hopefully the soundtrack's really good too.
And the other pre-order that I did, which was kind of in the same vein as the whole Watch Dogs thing, I pre-ordered Trials Fusion.
Oh, yeah, I've got to get that one too.
Maybe
When does
you
that
can
come
get it
out?
Off Jay's website.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
What a segue.
Nah. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'll get it from then. When does it come out?
24th, I think. April. Pretty sure.
So what game is this? I've missed the boat here.
Trials Fusion. So like Trials Evolution, but it's just the new Trials game.
Right. Yeah.
But it's got
Cool.
quad-
some people are already playing it.
quad
Like press
bikes.
release copies.
Yeah,
It's got quad bikes. That's good.
yeah. If you pre-order it, you get to be in a closed beta. So maybe that's who it is. Oh, Ron's here.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything first, Ron? Just to, I suppose, be hello. Hello. You all right, buddy? You all right? Oh, he's
We've
frozen.
lost him.
His internet is fucked again.
Someone should tell him
Mate,
he
you
should stop
should get his
downloading
money back
porn.
for this month.
Yeah.
Well, now we've got video proof. Either he's been sitting there for the last hour and 45 minutes like an absolute statue, or his internet is just so terrible.
That would be funny. If he's just really still. That's all that.
Nothing to contribute. Yeah, Ron, I'm talking about you. Ron, answer me. Okay. So I thought we'd finish up by having a bit of a guessing game as to what the 20 best-selling games of the last generation were, and see if we can get any right.
To PS3 and Xbox 360, basically.
Well, you would be
Or for
surprised.
anything.
You would be surprised. Of the last generation, so I think.
But that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, GTA 5's there.
GTA 5 is there. Can you guess what number?
You just said
Number,
what, didn't you?
I think, number 1.
Wait, what?
What? What are you on about?
Did you ask him what Grand Theft Auto number?
Nah. No.
No, he asked what number in the countdown.
What number?
Oh, sorry, yeah, because you said GTA 5, and you were like, yeah, but what number? And it's like, well, he just said number 5.
No.
You're not listening? Sorry about that.
Chris was getting it confused with Saints Row 1 or 2 or whatever.
Saints
So,
They started at number 2.
long-running joke. Grand Theft Auto 5 actually ranked number 6 in total worldwide
Oh, bullshit.
sales.
I didn't add it up properly. That's not right.
Well,
Okay, well, obviously all the Call of Duties are in there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's have a look. Should we go from 20? Should we go from 20 downwards, and then that will hopefully narrow down some things?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I don't know.
So number 20, and you'd be surprised at some of these ones. Number 20 was World of Warcraft 2004. 14 million worldwide sales and counting. Number 19 was Pokemon Black and Black White at 15.42. These numbers are obviously
number one's
going
going
to
to be bloody Wii Sports, isn't it? I forgot about that shit.
Ah, he's clicked.
Oh, yeah.
18
Bloody
was
Wii.
Pokemon Diamond Pearl at 2006, 17.36 million and counting. This was a weird one. Brain Age. I'm thinking this was one of the Nintendo puzzle games from what I can
Put
see.
some DS shovelware or something, mate.
19
Yeah, it's the little
million.
brain game thingies.
Now we start getting into
It's
the
like
big
the only
boys.
thing you can get on that.
Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, 20 million plus. That was at 16. 15 was Kinect Adventures, so that was surprising actually. That must have been obviously the first 360 gen Kinect game. 14.
Yeah, you had to buy that to get the Connect.
That's, probably makes sense. Wii Fit Plus 2009, 20.86 million. Wii Fit.
Can we just leave all Wii stuff off the countdown?
Well, there's probably not much of a countdown. 13 was Wii Fit. 14 was Mario Kart DS. 11 was Grand Theft Auto 4 at 25 million. Number 10, Call of Duty Black Ops 2010, 26.8 million. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas from 2004, 27.5 million. New Super Mario Brothers Wii 2009 to 27.88 million. Wii Play, so we won't worry about that. Grand Theft Auto 5, 29 million and counting. Number 5, new Super Mario Brothers, 30.38 million. Wii Sports Resort, don't worry about that one. Minecraft from 2000, this bridges both the 2009 alpha all the way up to 2011, the official title, 33 million. Mario Kart Wii. Oh, it's just such a shame that Ron's not here to celebrate this. 35.26 million. And Wii Sports, number 1. 81.99, you might as well just call it 2082. 81.99 million sales and counting.
So how did the Wii have so many top-selling games and Nintendo
Well, a lot
still
of them.
got last?
Well, they didn't have many games on it, and it was the biggest selling system.
Yeah.
So, you know, and Wii Sports was sold with every copy. That's the problem. They include games that are sold with consoles. That's why it's sold to many. It's sold to many consoles.
That's it.
Yeah, I hate that. I'll be spoiled by all those Wii bullshit figures.
Yeah.
Let's do on without it.
What you gotta do. Yeah. Did any of you guys have anything you wanted to cover? I mean, I know Ben and Chris had usually come up with some stuff that's, I don't know if there's been any crossover this week.
Not really. Just very quickly, the Borderlands pre-sequel comes out at the end of this year. That looks awesome. That's going to be great, seeing as number 2 was fantastic. Star Citizen, they just released some in-game footage of that, like some dogfights. It looks, oh my god, this game.
Is that the
crowdfunding? It's going to be ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crowdfunding.
It is going to be so good. I hope it will. It has to
me.
be. It's too big to fail.
Like
And
$35 million
the
worth into it.
yeah, and the Civilization Beyond Earth game as well looks pretty cool. There's a trailer coming out. How Gandhi can kick your ass in space. If you're familiar with Civilization 5.
Gandhi himself.
So yeah.
Mahatma.
Have you played Civilization 5?
No.
Did you get that?
No.
If you voted for the Golden Joystick, you got it for free.
Golden what?
Anyway, the Golden Joystick Awards.
No.
God, Gavin.
I know.
Jay, you know about the Golden Joysticks?
Yeah. I think I watched the presentation of the awards. But,
Yeah. Yogscast win it every year, anyway.
it's not even a contest.
If you voted, you get it for free. Anyway, it's a great game. And this is the next one. It looks good, too.
Cool.
And that is it from me.
Christabel?
No, I was basically going to talk about very similar things to Ben, Star Citizen and that. There's also another game that's looking for funding that very similar to Fallout 2 and Baldur's Gate style game, where it's a party and you walk around, but it's called Wasteland, and that looks really good as well. So that's about all that I was going to talk about this.
What's next on your hit list, Jay? What you looking forward to? I mean, is it pretty?
Well, in terms of content creation or just to play it?
Both. I mean, I kind of know. I'm kind of up to speed on what you generally tend to do with your channel and stuff.
Well, I'm still heavily invested in the hardcore survival genre. So DayZ and any mods that come out. And H1Z1, which was obviously announced this week. That's on my radar. Other than that, you just, as a gamer, like covering the kind of games I cover, I just kind of wait till the end of the year and I play the new cards and I'll play, might play Watch Dogs. I'm not too bothered about it. There's probably some I'm forgetting that are due out. But I just generally tend to wait till the end of the year and then think about it. In terms of middle of the year, nothing off the top of my head, especially not in the next few weeks. Games tend to just sneak up on me, really, without realising it. Like that Trials Revolution, whatever it is. Like, I'll play that, but up until like a week ago, I completely forgot when it was coming out. So there's so many games that I kind of don't even tune into what's coming out in particular, and it just pops up out of nowhere. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to new Call of Duty, to be honest, like, because it's going to be a different developer, and for me, that's an exciting prospect. I don't have any expectations of it, but I like the prospect of it. So,
are we kind of overdue for news, or is it mainly going to be an E3 kind of
I'd say
release?
it's definitely overdue. I'm surprised we don't know a lot more about it. normally you find out things in February latest, like the name, and I mean, all we know at the moment really is it's going to be made by Sledgehammer.
Oh,
Oh, he dropped out.
dropped out.
Damn it. He was onto something.
Oh.
Come on back, buddy. Come on back. All right, whilst he's coming back. Here he is.
There we go.
There we go.
Accident. I don't know how that happened.
You got an attack of the
yeah.
Ron's internet for a split second there.
There wasn't, no, I clicked my mouse by accident and it hung it up.
Oh,
right.
Oh, bloody PCs.
But yeah, the new Call of Duty, I'm surprised we don't know. Like, I mean, we'll get some footage soon, for sure. I mean, when was the footage released last year? I mean, Gamescom's not going to be too far away, and by then, that'll be probably the first time I play it. I can't remember if I played it before Gamescom last time.
Is that Germany?
No, they showcase. They normally showcase it at E3. Isn't that like the first time they normally show the new COD?
I think so.
And then there's Gamescom, and then we have Eurogamer over here, which is another chance to play it, and then it's nearly out by then. So I think by June we'll have a solid idea of what we're getting, and we might have seen some gameplay.
I'm surprised Drifter
I don't
hasn't
know.
come out with anything yet. He's usually pretty quick off the mark.
Well, he has come out with some stuff. It just depends. People leak. He did do a video actually all about it and saying what he knew, but what he knew wasn't as much as what he knew last time. Like with Ghosts, he got told about that quite early. And although generally what he said was correct and was real, there were a lot of things that didn't actually happen that he said might. Like he said there was going to be like dynamic intros to the game. Like, so instead of just you spawn in and there's a countdown, like you spawn in, you know, from a helicopter and then come down, you know, it's very dynamic, like in kill zones like that. But that didn't happen. So I don't know. I don't mind not knowing a lot about it, but I'm also kind of suspicious if they don't tell us anything till the last minute. Because it's like with Ghosts last year, there wasn't long before it came out and it felt unfinished. Like I played it quite a few times before it came out and it didn't feel like a finished game. Whereas the year before with Black Ops 2, when I played that, the whole game was there to play. Like Eurogamer last year, COD Ghost was there. You only had a few perks. You had like 3 or 4 classes and you had a few kill streaks. The year before with Black Ops 2, everything was unlocked. All streaks, all perks, all guns. You could use all camos. Everything was done. But Ghost was like, well, this isn't finished. And that raised alarm bells and it came out and it wasn't actually as good as it should be. So hopefully, I don't want to play it again and feel like this is like nowhere near finished because that will raise alarm bells again. Like,
Yeah.
I just pray to the gods because we all love the Call of Duty formula, so it'd be great to have a game that we can all get stuck into and have fun again.
And it kind of felt a little bit wasted when Chris and I went to, I suppose, our equivalent of like Gamescom or Eurogamer here in Sydney. Like we probably did wait in the queue for Ghost for about 50 minutes, just a bit more than that, Chris.
Yeah, probably a little bit more actually.
And yet, if we had invested that time in like literally the place next door, which was Titanfall, we probably could have played Titanfall. And like looking back in hindsight.
Yeah, a funny thing is, well, when I played Titanfall at the same event, that felt like a much more finished game than Call of Duty. And Call of Duty was coming out 2 months after that event, and Titanfall wasn't coming out for another 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it just felt like a real rushed mess, Ghost, to be honest. Like, and I think that's why they've actually come out and said we're getting another developer, because it's just too much. The scope of it's too big now to be able to push out so quickly.
I mean, in a 2-year development cycle, which obviously they alternate between Treyarch and Infinity Ward, but it sounds like even 2 years isn't enough.
No, it's not. Really. It's not. I mean, as much as we bash Call of Duty, it's on quite a big scale. Like, there's a lot to it, and it needs to be tested. And because they are this huge company now, they can't take risks. You know, all the DLC has to be pre-planned, and everything has to be such a way. Like they are like a quite professional outfit, Activision, but so they need things done and dusted. It can't be like, I'm sure COD 4 is a much more casual kind of affair, you know, than, I mean, you can even tell by the amount of effort they put into pre-release now how much goes behind investing in making sure it works.
Yeah,
And making sure it's good.
definitely.
And just quickly, you mentioned that you're keen on the zombie survival genre at the moment. There's another one you should keep an eye on called Dying Light.
That's not zombie survival. That's not hardcore survival, though, is it? That's
No, it's not. No, it's kind of just like an action sort of thing.
Dead Island with parkour by the looks of it. Which is fun, but that's not the kind of game I'm looking for. Like, it's,
No.
But yeah, zombie. The thing is with survival, for me, it's even more about survival games. Zombies add a good aspect to it, but I don't really care. I mean, they're just enemies for me. Like,
well, that's why in Rust they're just taking out the zombies now.
yeah, zombies. They're a good way of having something there that's an enemy without making like mythical creatures. Like, because you don't want to make like, I don't know, werewolves or something. Like, zombies are good because they're relatable, but at the same time, if someone just says, "Oh, it's a zombie game, you must like it," so I don't care. I'm not into zombie games. I'm into the survival aspect of games. And that's fun. Yeah.
Dem berets.
And some people, like, obviously, some people say about DayZ or the new game that's coming out, they say to the developers, "Oh, make it so that zombies are the threat and not other people." Whereas me personally, it's like, I don't want to spend my time dealing with bloody zombies. Like in DayZ, they've made them more powerful now in terms of they're faster, so you can't really get away from them. You have to deal with them. Previously, you could just keep running and then yeah, and you'd be fine. But now they've made it so that won't work. And not only is that annoying for one, because if you're ungeared, then you're screwed. Like, it just becomes a massive pain in the arse just playing. But it also detracts from like any people you might run into. I don't know. It's kind of, it's weird. I just prefer a survival game. I think actually it's funny because the zombies in Breaking Point are actually just how I think zombies should be. They're very slow, but there's a lot of them. So you don't want to go into a big horde because you'll get messed up. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to go into a horde of zombies to get a bit of loot because there's so many of them. They might trap me or they might surround me or might get cornered. But at the same time, if I stay away from the city, like in DayZ, sometimes these zombies spot you from like 10 miles away and you're like, that's not realistic. They're just behind the other one. So
zombie with a scope.
Yeah, Breaking Point is a good example actually, which is another thing which is kind of funny because they haven't got as much time invested in zombie survival as DayZ devs have, and DayZ is still a mess. Zombies don't even work properly. Like, they never have, and they still don't. Whereas Breaking Point, they work. First attempt to trying to do zombies, they figured it out. So it doesn't bode well for Bohemia, really.
Yeah. True.
All stuff to, yeah. I'll have to absorb all that and take it into DayZ when I finally take the cling wrap off it and get stuck into it.
They're just watching my live audio stream.
Yeah, I'll watch it on the train until I get into work, and then it turns into a DayZ audio podcast. But I'm still there. I'm still calling you all your scribs. I'm keeping them in check, and
yeah,
I do enjoy it though. It's good. Well, I think we just, if the counter is anything to go by, we're just over 2 hours. I'm not sure if that's how long we were recording for, but I think we might wrap things up. Thanks to Jay. Thanks very much, buddy. I know it's depending on what hangover state, or if you're absent of hangover from a wild Saturday night.
Oh, I don't drink anymore. Not really. I never get hangovers, so I'm fine. Yeah, I hardly drink at all. But it was just today I was thinking of maybe not being able to do it because I was doing top 5 beasts of the week and I was just like, I need to get this done today. But I got it done, so I was happy to come on. I got a bit of time for podcasts. I enjoy being part of the chat, so
yeah, thanks very much. Good to have you back. Good to see you actually around in your home turf as well. It was good.
Yeah, good old London.
Yeah. Having a cheeky cider.
£5 a beer.
I heard. I mean, I was going to mention that. I caught your, no change from a tenner kind of discussion you were having with Eddie the other day.
That's why I don't drink, man. What's the point? Go out and spend £100 just on like a round of beers. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know what the average cocktail price is in Sydney here. It's probably...
A cocktail's about £7 around here, if you want a cocktail.
£7, yeah. We can't get away... We probably won't get changed from a 20. Is that right, Benny? For a decent cocktail in the city?
Yeah, for a decent one, yeah. Generally they're about 15, but they're pretty average. Yeah, they're probably about, close to 20 now.
Paying for dem cocktails. Got to keep the ladies in check.
Yeah. Well, it's about, that's about £10 for us, isn't it?
Roughly
18
about that.
Australian dollars, about £10, I think.
Yeah. Damn it.
Oh, God.
Well,
It's one of those things as well, and it's just liquid, It's just liquid that you can consume really quickly. It's got such a high value if it's in a bar.
It was funny. I was watching an old episode of The In-Betweeners, and we will eventually end this podcast, don't worry. I was watching an episode of The In-Betweeners, and he goes, don't you think like buying alcohol is kind of strange? It's like you wouldn't drink pint after pint of orange squash. And I kind of thought about it.
Well,
It's true.
You would if you got drunk.
Yeah, if you got drunk from it. Yeah, that is true. All those ladies love that orange squash. Yeah. Cool. I would say thanks for Chris for turning up, but he seems to have fucked off already. So
He's gone.
Clearly the intercom came on, and his mum had to, tuck him into bed. Then he didn't want the world to be bear witness of that. So
Shit.
I'll thank him anyway. Thanks to
Shots
Benny.
fired.
Thank you.
And I'll give Jay one more thanks. Thanks for turning up. Thanks for coming. Know your
Thanks
time
for
is
coming,
precious. Can't wait to see them beasts of the weeks.
God, they started mowing the lawn outside. It's the end of my afternoon now.
Oh, I can hear
You
it.
hear that?
Yeah. That ain't no Flymo. He's got...
Oh, God.
Cool.
Guess I'll have to close the window for my live stream.
Are you streaming after this?
I think I'm going to stream Football Manager, yeah. So it's not to everyone's taste, but I'm going to just do it for a laugh.
I might pop in for a little while.
Okay.
So you can get Adebayor or something. I don't know. Yeah.
So, yeah, everyone's going to tell me who to buy. It's going to be a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. He's shit at left back. He's shit. Yeah. I'll just put myself on the big ass.
I might have to wait till they finish mowing that lawn. To be fair, luckily it's only like a tiny lawn, so...
It'd be done in 5. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So,
Well, that was episode 20. Thanks everyone who popped in. I think we're averaging around about 1 live viewer each and every time. So that's either someone doing testing on Google Plus or...
can you imagine?
Google bot.
Probably like us clicks on it accidentally.
Yeah, it probably was Ron trying to, at least keep up with the conversation. So, at least from a live point of view, I just wanted to test the waters and see what happened. But to that one lone person, thank you for watching. It meant all the difference. And I guess, we'll go back to original format of pre-recording. This will be up on my YouTube channel anyway. So don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again to Jay and Ben and Chris. Tuck yourself in, Chris.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next week. Bye for now.